As someone who has latched on to the idea of branding themselves as an indie kid, I simultaneously have no problem saying that I am a Harry Styles fan. He's great, but why is he great, and why did he seem to make it to a level that none of his 1D contemporaries really got to? If you're seeing this and you're from the Harry Styles fandom, please take it easy on me, this is just my opinion. Everyone in 1D found their own level of success and peace after the band, sure, but we can't ignore the fact that on paper, by the numbers, Harry has connected with substantially more people. And I think a really easy way to have this conversation would just be to say, well, his music's better. And while I believe that, even saying that is relative, right? Because having the best solo music out of everyone in 1D doesn't necessarily guarantee you Harry's position. So without further ado, let's dive into why Harry Styles made it.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dull thing with style is preferable to doing a dangerous thing without it. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
While I did say that the music isn't the only thing carrying Harry, I still think it's worth mentioning here because he didn't make some of the same mistakes as his peers. Louis' debut comes up massively short in terms of songwriting. The production on Liam's debut is so squished and compressed that it doesn't even let the full power of his voice shine through. Niall's debut is just okay. And Zayn, while probably the most focused and ambitious after Harry, kinda ended up falling short because all his songs were about sex. And I will say for Liam, Louis, and Niall, a lot of their stuff kind of just sounds like an extension of 1D. And I don't blame them for that. That is honestly the most effortless thing to do. It's the safest transition. Fans will be there for that. But that's the thing. Doing that limits your audience to previously existing 1D fans. The growth has a ceiling. And with Zayn, I was pretty excited for his debut because it did seem like he was finally gonna get to make the R&B that he always wanted to make. Unfortunately, I think it just came off a little immature for where he was at. Where Harry went right is making his debut a sampler, and an unexpected one at that. You have a fully acoustic opener, which is probably still my favorite Harry song. You have Sign of the Times, which was just a radio smash hit of a ballad, some 60s worship on Carolina, some 70s worship on Only Angel, and some Allman Brothers worship on Two Ghosts, which is also a favorite of mine. Listen to the song Melissa by the Allman Brothers and then listen to Two Ghosts, you'll be like, oh, I get it. You have Kiwi, which calls a little bit to the old and a little bit to the new, kind of like Arctic Monkeys in a way. You have that screaming in the middle of Sweet Creature. Woman is bold for being 4.5 minutes, but it is. Same thing for Ever Since New York, you know, it's a longer track, but it's a risk. And those risks are not as common when you're at Harry's level. And the album closes acoustically too. Yeah, it's pop on the whole, but there's a lot of things going on in those 10 tracks. I would really say only one track is clearly designed for radio, but the rest just feel like big producers coming to Harry and being like, what do you want to make today? It's short, it's sweet, it's memorable, and most importantly, it is not what you would expect from a previous member of One Direction. But it's not just the music, right? We said that. When you ask Harry fans what they like about him besides the music, a lot of the times the answer you'll hear is that he's breaking gender norms, and he just does what he wants with regards to appearance. No, Harry's not the first artist to ever do this, but it's just something you don't really see at his level nowadays. And it's definitely not something you expect from someone who was previously in a boy band. The way he explains it too is not like he's trying to make a big deal out of it. In an interview once, he said something along the lines of, you know, if I see a shirt and someone's like, Harry, that's a woman's shirt, he's like, okay, that doesn't really want to make me wear it any less. And that's all the answer has to be, you know, it's just simple. It's an aspect about him that exudes quiet confidence, and it's something I've always liked about him. For me, my favorite thing about Harry besides the music is that despite being one of the biggest artists in the world, I hardly ever hear from him or about him. That might sound like an insult, but I promise you it's not. I just love the fact that he could be that famous and not have this like loud god complex. He knows he's Harry Styles, and he doesn't have to tell you. And I think that leads me to the point of the community around him. Now, I've never seen a Harry Styles show myself, but just crowdsourcing experiences from people on the internet and people I know have seen him, it's pretty unique in an on-brand way for him. It's more like a fun community experience rather than like a church worship around a pop icon. For instance, if Harry plays a show on Halloween, the fans will call it Harryween and come dressed up in costumes, and Harry will dress up too. He's even helped a few fans come out to their family and friends during the show, which sounds scary and awesome all at once. He's super fond of his band and really makes sure to include them a lot in the show. And I think that mentality kind of comes from his days as a band kid in White Eskimo before he was on X Factor. You can kind of tell he still has that band kid energy inside of him. Even down to the stage layout, there's no clear front or clear back. It's just the band in the middle and all these mics around the perimeter so he can just move around freely. I think his X Factor audition tape kind of says a lot about this too. Because for example, Niles was like, oh yeah, I want to be famous, I want to tour arenas, I want to make an album, I want to work with big names. this. And Harry's was like, yeah, I'm on my way to college to study law and sociology and a bunch of other stuff, and if music doesn't work out, that's what I'll do. And that is spoken like a true DIY music kid. All this is to say that he just operates on a level that shows he really enjoys what he's doing, and he really enjoys music. It's easy to see and it's easy to get behind. I think the best way to really sum it up is like this. A boy band is a well-rounded unit. You yourself don't have to be well-rounded. You just have to be really good at your thing. But when you're on your own and out of a boy band, that thing that you did really well isn't going to necessarily carry you as far as it did when it was in context of a group. Harry Styles, in my opinion, is the only member of One Direction that afterwards was able to stay well-rounded. The amount of success every other member received is directly proportional to the amount of effort they put towards that. Harry's got the image, the attitude, the talent, the kindness, the style, the community, the band, and that's why he made it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.